Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, May 1st, 2023. It's 4 p.m. and this is the City of Liberty Lake Parks and Arts Commission meeting. Welcome. First of all, we'd like to do the roll call. We have commissioners present are myself, Commissioner Hill, Commissioner Heimbach, Commissioner Chamberlain, Commissioner Barr, Commissioner Schmeidmiller, and on Zoom we have Commissioner Leparco. And do we have Commissioner Frank yet? No. Let the record know that she will try to join us via Zoom. We also have staff present, Jen Camp and Tate Hunter. Did everyone get a chance to look at the April 17th minutes? And if so, are there any corrections?
I stand for one correction. I know Commissioner Schneidmiller was unable to log in, so I'd like to move that he or change to excused on that, unable to jump on Zoom.
And we're very happy to have you back in person.
Well, you know what, I always look forward to this, so. One of the issues I have, when I log in.
Oh, your microphone.
Oh,
Grab that and push the button and make sure it's on.
yeah, is that right?
That's good.
Okay, one of the issues I have, when I log in, it's very difficult to hear the staff here. Working, it's not very clear. And it's interesting because if it's an off-site login, I can hear them clearly. So whatever the sound system is here and my computer doesn't allow, I usually try, I can pick up some things. So I try and do as much as I can.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you for the feedback. So we have a motion on the floor to make that adjustment. Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor? Please show the motion approved unanimously. Next, we'll move on to citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments today? Either via Zoom or in person? Not seeing any on Zoom. Okay, seeing none, we'll move to item 5, the unfinished and new business. Item number 1 is the recreation contract for fitness classes. Jennifer Morton, are you here? She's on Zoom. She's on Zoom. Okay.
I'm here, I'm sorry.
Okay. What do you have for us, Jennifer? Welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jennifer Morton, and I am a group fitness instructor. I'm here with Aaron, another fitness instructor in the area. And 3 years or so, we both started moving a lot of our fitness classes outside. We're really trying to lean into the green fitness movement, recognizing the emotional and psychological positive effects that come from exercising outside. And so we would like to ask your support to start teaching some classes in the morning at Pavilion Park. The classes that hopefully will be family friendly, especially for teenagers to do together with their parents. And so we really just would like your support in that and moving forward with a contract with the city.
So this would be similar to the contract with yoga that we did a meeting or 2 ago, where if the Parks and Arts Commission agrees to vote to move this contract forward to council, then she and I will work on an agreement to add to our fitness contracts that we already have in place and move it to council probably for a June meeting for approval.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? Jennifer, did you have any questions for us?
No, I've talked to Jennifer Camp about the questions that we had up to this point, and she's answered those. So thank you.
Okay, great. Well, if there's no questions, do we have a motion to approve the contract to go forward to council?
Correct.
I request that we are we looking for motion? Yeah, I move that we go forward to council with Jennifer's contract for the fitness classes.
We have a second? Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Okay.
Any, Noel, is that a yes for you? Can you see her?
Noelle, you're on mute.
Oh, hi. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Okay, we can hear you. So is that a yes for you too?
Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Sorry about that. I couldn't hear you guys for a while.
Can you hear us now, Noel?
We're on.
Yes.
Oh, never-
Okay, great. So we were just voting on a motion. Did you hear what the motion was?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, it was to approve recreation contract for fitness classes in Pavilion Park, to approve that contract to move on to council for their approval.
Fabulous. Yes, I'm all for it.
Okay, so the motion is approved unanimously. All right, thank you,
Thank you,
Jennifer.
Jen. I'll be in touch with you
Thank you,
tomorrow
Nancy.
through email and take on what next steps might look like.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks again. So our next item, item 2, is the Liberty Launch Academy proposal. Posey Kalen, thanks for coming. Make sure that microphone's on. Check.
Check 1, 2. Okay, I think this is gonna work. I do have a shorter PowerPoint presentation I'm hoping to show you guys. I am Posey Galen, and I'm currently the Arts Integration and Community Outreach Specialist at Liberty Launch Academy. I also have my own organization called Heartworks. And really the vision for this is arts integration with community partnership. So today I'm here, I'm gonna just kind of go over a little bit of an overview, so we can go to the next slide, please. So really what I do and what's kind of at the heart is integrating arts into science curricula. So past projects I've done, I have partnered with different high schools and different programs, integrating ecology and art together with science teachers. So really looking at what social and emotional benefits that this has, not only connecting youth with the landscape and the land, but integrating art into that. All right, next slide, sorry. I was doing student-led conferences for the last 3 hours, so my voice. So really here is the project that I'm proposing to you guys, which is the celebration of native plants, working with the elementary schools in this region, not just at my school that I'm at, but outside of that, right? Because that's really where the impact is. So I'm looking at the Liberty Lake, I can't really read right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm looking at Liberty Creek Elementary, Green Acres Elementary, as well as my elementary, the maybe just the K through 3rd grade. And the Washington Native Plant Society, which also is really celebrating about native plants, and they also have some funding opportunities as well for a project like this. So in this project, the culminating art project is creation of native plant plaques. So currently already, I talked to Jennifer Camp. She mentioned that there is a pollinator garden at Pavilion Park, and that there might be some improvements needed around that garden, but really moving into that with the community in mind and with youth in mind. So the culminating art project would be these metal bronze plaques that not only tells you about the native plants that are in the garden, but students can then, or community members can do rubbings of that and make it a part of their own and take it with them. So that garden, maybe building it up, we might need to buy some new plants for that, but really celebrating that in our community and involving the youth and the community together with that. So obviously benefits, creating opportunities and connection to nature and community, supporting visitors to learn and engage by creating art rubbings from those plaques. So we can go to the next slide, please. Great. This is just to show you that the Native Plant Appreciation Month is in April. So this project would be planned for next April, April 2024. So I am here with some advance notice, but it's part of it. It's something that happens in Washington and happens with Parks and Rec. So it's something that I think that would be really viable here in our community. Do we go to the next slide, please? These are just some examples of what the plaques could look like. That could be placed if there was a pathway throughout the garden and around it, that you could do rubbings with. So, you know, youth or whoever visits the park can actually take something home with them and learn a little bit about that. Next slide, please. This is an example as well. These are some vinyl, kind of signage with metal posts that I thought would be great to involve some of the artwork that will happen over the course of working with youth at the elementary school. So as you can see, it gives you a kind of an idea of people engaged in the garden, as well as some signage that can be put up of artwork that go beyond just the plaques for the event. So it could be actually featuring some of the artwork for the youth, getting families down to the pavilion park, having it really focused and celebrated probably around April 20th, which is Earth Day. All right, next slide. So what I'm looking for with Parks and Art is to be able to name Parks and Art as a partner when applying for grants for this project. So, you know, there's a number of ones through Arts Washington, and there's some, like I said, through the Native Plant, but there's also, you know, just being able to name a partnership and a relationship is really going to help. I am hoping as well for some match funding for this project. I will be inviting 2 visiting artists into this project to work across the elementary schools that I have been communicating with. So the impact is huge on this project, probably over 150 to 200 students, and getting them involved. So if you think about basically what the cost that I'm looking for you guys would be, some of the teaching time, art materials, signage, maybe some plants that need to go in there. I can put a more specific budget together, of course, with this in mind. But so really just thinking about, for me, what's at the heart for arts and ecology integration. And I really see Parks and Art as that channel for this project and for future projects. So next slide, please. In the vision of future HeartWorks projects, I really, at the, you know, working with youth, community, and Parks and Arts in the development and creation of legacy arts projects that celebrate each other and nature. So that's really at the core of what I do, and bringing regional and community artists together with youth. So I kind of envision other bigger projects to celebrate and create legacy projects with Parks and Art. And I just have one more slide. This is a mosaic mural around a playground, and it involves the community to help build the vision for it. So yeah, I would take any questions that you guys may have.
That's very nice. I love that wall there. Have you reached out at all to the Washington State Cooperative Extension Office there in Havana? Because I seem to recall I think they have a little native garden there with some signs, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
That might also be a good resource, and I don't know if there would be any
Yeah.
grant money available, but it's always a great idea to get kids involved in nature. Staff, any thoughts from you on?
Not at this time. I had good conversation with her and kind of advised her on from the point aspect of, you know, what is it that specifically she needs, you know, what is the ask? And so I think she did a great job there. And the processes that we have to go through to plan these things. So I think this is great timing, because I informed her that we're going to be having budget discussions coming up. And if there is a decision to move forward with some amount of funding, we can actually prepare for that and include it, rather than waiting till next spring to ask when the budgets are already set. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's too early at all to present and come forward and ask for help, assistance, or otherwise. And, you know, in our parks, some of these projects could be very easy projects for staff. You know, implementation of adding markers or plaques, adding plant material. We hope, it's a big question mark, but we hope to maybe have a gardener at some point, on staff full-time. So, you know, that's something that we can integrate into our everyday world of operations and maintenance. So it'd be a good partnership for the staff, I think, too.
Commissioners, thoughts, questions?
So supposing it's out, was it $4,000?
Around there, yes,
So that's like a startup,
yes, yes.
and then in coming years, then what? You would like to keep adding or maintaining the existing?
So, as far as like the native species project, I would see that one kind of, starting up next year and then building upon that with years to come. But also doing bigger projects, and looking at different opportunities to do that and engage with Parks and Art through other larger grant funding in the state of Washington through Arts Washington.
And I think that, she and I were talking about how neat it is that Pavilion Park in particular is right there with now the Liberty Lounge Academy, but the two elementary schools. Like right there, so it's sort of their park, if you will, you know, so there's some direct ties to Pavilion and Rocky and even Orchard, even though it's north. We've got some beautiful parks that are like a blank canvas of things that we can do there.
Yeah, you don't even need a school bus from those schools.
Nope.
Yeah.
Commissioners?
Good.
Okay, well, we have, as Jen said, our strategic plan is coming up.
Okay.
And in our budgetary process, we have projects under discussion. So I believe we will add it to that, and we'll be discussing it in the very near future. So we'll let you know if we need more information or what we think as we have a chance to move through those processes. And yeah, bringing it to us now is great because the wheels do turn a little slowly. And we appreciate it. It's a great idea. I love the younger kids, you know, giving them something to do and to be involved in and to have some sense of ownership. So thank you for coming to us today with that.
Thank you so much for your time.
I will keep in touch with you as we get into our future, discussions. Okay.
Okay. Next on our list is the Story Walk update, and it looks like we have Mr. Benson's student today.
Jacob.
Jacob,
Yeah.
welcome.
So the reason I was late is, we just finished the first prototype.
Wow.
So, we can kind of show you how this works. But what it is, you know, it's a sealed thing like we did before. It's a little bit different design, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But what I wanted to talk to you about, go to second slide, please. So, where have we been? So it's been 2 months since we've been here, and normally during that time period, we would have made a lot of progress, but we had this little detour, and Jacob was actually a part of it. Skills USA has state technical competitions. We won a whole bunch of regionals, and we went to state, and these kids are holding up sixes because we won 6 state championships at regionals.
Wow.
And Jacob placed in the computer aided design, but he was just out of the money on that one, so he did really well. So we took 25 kids to Tacoma on a big charter bus, and it was just amazing to win 6 state championships. It's kind of like a track meet, you know, where there are teams and different events that the students are in, and this little school in the back just kept getting called up for gold, so that was really fun. Next slide, please. And so those are, again, another picture there of our medal winners. So let's talk about progress. And Jacob and I didn't get time to practice it, but we're kind of winging it.
Okay, we like winging it.
Oh, you do the first couple.
All right, I'll do the first one. All right, great. So design and hardware changes approved. So we talked with Trevor, from maintenance. And he said, boy, you know, we like having some tamper-proof hardware, but 8 pieces of tamper-proof hardware is ridiculous. I want 1 piece of tamper-proof hardware and 3 wing nuts. And so that change has been incorporated into design. And then we found out that we could save a whole bunch of material and actually make the laser glass ourselves if we made them just a little bit smaller. So I went and talked with Jambi at the library district, and she thought it was just cool that the smaller size worked. We tried it with a bunch of her stories, and that worked out fine. So the smaller, slightly smaller size, again, you probably wouldn't even see it. But she's, all but two of the stories that you've done in the past fit in there, and it's gonna be this size. The other one was about 3 inches wider and about 1 inch taller, so
Makes
it's not
the
that
story
big.
look bigger.
Yeah, so,
From
yeah,
here, it just looks bigger.
actually, it's smaller.
Oh,
The viewing
okay.
window is a little bit smaller, David. Okay, and again, what, yeah, what that allows us to do is instead of having to send out the acrylic to be cut by someone else, we can cut it in our own shop using some pretty creative process. So that one's fun. Cost wise, so on the stands that are in Rocky Hill Park, this outside, are you getting tired? You're sick.
You can lean it on the back of the chair there.
Oh,
If
yeah.
someone to wait on.
Sure.
Or on the, you put
Yeah,
it
you
right up
put it
on the top.
Oh, there it is.
If it doesn't slip, yeah.
There you go.
And so
There you go.
before, we used stainless steel that was actually 8 separate pieces of stainless steel that had to be made at PCT here. And we're actually welding the steel frame ourselves. It's much stronger, it's much more leak proof, and so we like that design a lot better, and it's gonna be a lot cheaper. Again, it requires some more creativity on the student's part and some more process control, and we like that too, so that's good stuff. The other thing is we went from a B seal, so that's 2 seals like it's on your automobile, to a D seal. It's a single seal, but it's much bigger. And that will allow, you know, before we have one stand in Rocky Hill that leaks, and we know why. And I think we can actually fix it now that we understand it. But it's that the plate got warped when we welded it, and the seal isn't big enough to take up the work. So we've got a taller seal, and I think it will take care of any problem with warpage that we've got. So we're kind of excited about that. This is how innovation happens, by the way, right? You make mistakes and you learn from them. You have that darn number 13 that leaks in Rocky Hill. And then we finished the prototype. You want to talk about the prototype or? No, you. Okay, so we just finished it this afternoon. Some kids stayed an hour and a half afterwards. And one was on the laser, and you can see we didn't have big enough plastic, so it's actually dovetailed together. That will not be there in the final stand. And then we drilled the plates in the frames today. So that's where we're at with the prototype. So I think we got the process, except for all the fixturing and creativity and making it go quickly, which is where, again, where students learn. So that's marvelous to get them to do that. Getting them to do that is what Jacob's going to talk about next. Jacob.
There we go, almost like we planned it, that's fun. So yeah, he proposed the idea today during class, and he's like, hey guys, we need to figure out what we're gonna do with this. And there are only a handful of students in the shop class that are working on it. And so a lot of the people didn't really know what was going on. And so I kind of explained it to them, and they were all super excited about it because we learned a lot of skills in the shop, but this is kind of a great way to kind of actually do, like, use those skills onto something, not just for ourselves, but for the community that everybody can enjoy. And so it's something that we can really actually do kind of in the real world with our skills, which is super, super cool. Everybody was on board. There was no shaking heads. Everyone was like, yeah, okay, yeah, we can do that. And so that was super cool to see everybody kind of link heads and like on board on the same wavelength, which was super cool.
All right, next slide. So we don't know how much it's gonna cost because we're just out for quote. Again, everything shut down when we were getting ready for skills. And so we should know in the next week and a half or so what the cost is going to be. And again, we think it's going to come in a lot lower than what we had before, but inflation, we don't know. But I'm not going to throw out a number because I'll get it wrong for darn sure, but I'm thinking it's going to be substantially less than before. Next slide. Okay, so our plan. So this week and the next week, we're going out for quotes. And then we'll, as soon as we get those quotes in and it looks like a good number, we'll go ahead and order. The tricky bit here is that we kind of need to get approval to go ahead before we know the cost. And so today, if we could maybe say, okay, if it's less than this amount, go ahead and do that. That would be great. But again, I do not know the cost of it yet. Purchases, so I don't know if you remember last time, but we had a real problem between the school district spending money and getting paid back and the city paying it back, and it was a mess. And so what we'd like to do is leave the district out of it completely, because right now, if there's any money, they're sucking it up, right? Because they need it. And so what we'd like to do is have, if Rotary is paying for these, have Rotary just actually place the order for us. And so we would specify that and just have them pay for those, actually place the order and we go pick it up. It just makes a lot more sense to not have to go through any channel to do that.
That's easier for the city side of things as well. And then at that point, what we would do, probably Kiwanis would make a purchase, and then your group would donate them to the city. This is the done completed stands
Yes.
with a set value or worth. So that's kind of what that process is.
Okay.
It'd be so much easier for, I think, everybody.
And I apologize for getting the wrong civic organization. That's fair. Yeah.
Hey, Mark, so, are you ordering materials through Bobby Weiss?
What's that?
Are you ordering materials through Bobby Weiss?
I already
Fabrication
know.
plant? Well, he owns the fabrication plant. He's a-
Yeah, so, we're, actually, ordering raw materials. We've got a steel supplier that's been terrific to us.
Okay.
And so we're gonna quote a couple places there. And, PCT would be doing our steel work for us, because it's a laser, they'll use the lasers to cut out the plates, but they're doing a tenth of what they did for us before.
Okay, I'm just saying, Bobby's got all the toys.
Okay, yeah, and so, I guess Clint sold over here, but, again, they're a supplier that worked with us on the last
Okay.
one, and they did a great job. And then the next step, do you want to talk about planning and preparing the factory, since you volunteered to do that work?
So this is a very, very fun part because it's kind of Mr. Vitz he's running a lot of the back end and helping us out, but we get to kind of plan a lot of things on how it's gonna work, which is super cool because we have no idea what we're doing and we've never done it before. And so that's the fun part because we get to learn how it works and how we're gonna do it. And if we do something wrong, Mr. Vitz is like, hey, do it this way. But this is one of the fun parts that we get to do besides making them and planning them. So we get to figure out how we're gonna make them. And this is a big deal because we wanna make them within 1 week, so we don't waste too much of your guys' time, so we can get them out there faster, and so we don't waste a lot of class time. And so we actually started today, we were like, okay, this is something that's actually happening, we need to get this done and figure out how we're gonna do it. And so that's what we did, I sat down with a friend, it's me and another classmate, they're gonna figure out how we're gonna make them. And so that's something we started today, and we'll get more information for you guys next time we meet, but right now, it's very early planning phase. And so, but that's something we started today, and we're like, hey, how we're gonna do this, how we're gonna make them efficiently, and up to kind of, I guess, quota for you guys to make sure they're like, good enough quality to set out there. Oh, and then I guess I can speak on finish a little bit, so. So the finish, after we fabricate them and make it for you guys, we're gonna send them off to powder coating, which I think made you a lot, right? We wanna get them back?
Yeah, so we'll send them out, probably before, in May, probably the third or fourth week in May, and then it's gonna take 2 to 3 weeks to powder coat.
Yeah, so the ones we make them, we send them out to powder coating, so it'll be nice and pretty.
Next slide. So, our schedule is, fabricate the third week in May. And then we have to send them out to powder coat, and that's gonna take a while, and since we have 6 state champions and 9 people going to nationals, June is out, because we're finishing school and we're going to Atlanta for, almost a full week, and we're getting ready for that. And then when we come back, we'll get the powder coat stands back and have all of our material together, and then we'll do the assembly, and once they're assembled, then they're ready for install by the Parks Department. And so we're thinking kind of mid-July after the 4th that we get a group of students together, spend time in the summer, to actually assemble them. And then Parks installs them like we did before. That went fantastic. I think I and another student were on site for that just for fun. And then when we actually go to put the first stories in, we'll also invite students to help with that, because that's the really fun part. So that's what we've got. So we're thinking, again, fabrication, third week in May, assemble, would be, after the 4th of July, probably mid-July, and ready for install shortly after that.
Mark, is the stands, are they gonna be similar to what we've seen?
Exactly the same
Okay.
thing, 3-inch, square tubing.
Same height we're looking at?
Yeah, same height, same angle, unless, again, we didn't get any feedback on that, needing to be changed, and so we left it the same.
As a commission, I don't think that we have picked a specific location, or did we? It's been a while since. Okay, so
I mean, I wasn't here for quite a few meetings, but.
we need to do that too, so that, you guys wanna go out and visualize, if you have a prototype, you wanna take it out there and see where it's gonna be. So we need to do that, and I think, I'll go over there and take a couple areas. I kind of have an idea in mind right now. the center of the park where there's a big S through there in the.
Yeah, you might wanna, meet up with Travis Slocum on that
Yeah.
from a staffing point
Just,
and winter,
okay, just
winter
to kind
glow.
of look at it and see.
Winter glow and sprinklers.
Ideas.
Yeah, winter glow sprinklers and electric, you got
Right,
power.
true. True, thank you.
Yeah, and so that's kind of where we're at, and I think what we need from the Parks Commission is just go ahead and get those quotes. And what we need from Kiwanis is there a number that we need to be under? And if there is, then and we come under that with the estimate, I think we're ready to go.
Okay, I will, follow up with that with the Kiwanis
Okay,
and I'll get back to, the commission here and let them know and then they'll contact you.
okay. And the only other important thing that is for a lifetime is you folks choosing the color. And so we'll bring to the June first meeting, we can bring the color samples, whatever that meeting is, the first week in June, the first Monday in June, we'll bring the color samples so we can choose those
And you
colors.
know the scheme for the colors for Orchard Park, right?
Yeah, I think you chose the light blues.
Yeah, high colors here.
Okay,
Isn't that right, Jen?
Correct, yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's the green, the light blue and the dark blue.
yeah, and I think we've chosen the light blue for these.
Yep.
And I just need to bring in some color chips because there are many light blues. And
Last time when we looked at there was a couple of different types of finishes. Are we dialed in as far as we know? There was a couple different types of powder coat finishes that we were looking at. Or maybe it was, we weren't going to powder coat them versus looking at just painting them.
yeah, and we are gonna powder coat because it's lifetime. And so we sandblast and we prime and we powder coat because we want these to be 50-year kind of things. And that's what they
Maintenance thanks you for that.
Yes, yeah. And again, so we just have to pick the color of light blue that you like. And if you have, I don't know if you have any color chips or anything from the flag?
I might have,
Yeah, if you got like whatever I can't remember the code.
I probably have the color chips, because we just matched by eye at Orchard. I probably have color chips for a lot of the playground equipment, it's that blue and the greens.
Oh,
See if
that's
I can, I'll see if I can dig something up.
okay. And we could potentially do two different colors for one for the frame and one for the stand, but the price just goes up. And I don't know that it buys you that much. So I think just a single color probably is a better choice.
Bob, just so you know, I was looking at our 2023 budget, and for that project, we had $6,000 as a placeholder, so that might be helpful when you go to Kiwanis.
Yeah, what I'll do, because I'm a member of the Kiwanis. And, I'll, get in the discussion with Tim, the president, okay, and I'll have him contact Jennifer, to start out, to work out the issues of how to get the money to it and make sure that is, and if I said, if I said $6,000 before, it is $6,000, or maybe even more now, we'll see.
Okay, all right, well, thanks for checking into that.
Yeah.
And gentlemen, the design process is fascinating, that you've taken what you learned from Rocky Hill and the economy of scale, and I know what you were saying, David, that the book looks bigger from here, and I think it's an optical illusion based on what your feedback is, but it really does, and that's kudos to you guys. I think I see some bright careers for some of the people coming out of this program, especially given your successes at state and like, woohoo, go at nationals. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Can't wait to hear back.
we had a second place at nationals last year, and it was 2.5 points out of 1,000 that they lost by.
Wow.
So this year maybe we'll have a goal, but it's kind of like winning a national basketball championship. It comes down to luck. Do you play UCLA in an extended time game
Exactly.
before you play the championship? So we'll
Was
see how it
it
goes.
Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob Cloward, CLOWARD.
Well, just making it to nationals,
I got my guy.
just making it to nationals is a pretty big win. Commissioners, any other questions or feedback? Anybody online?
One of the things I would want to do is if you come back and give another presentation, I would like to invite some of the Kiwanis members to be here and see what they're, we're organizing and taking care of. So this is something that, we're always looking for, you know, things to do in the community, and I can't think of anything better than what you're working on.
Thank you.
Would it be possible for you to come to the June 5th meeting?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe we plan on that.
Okay, I'll do that.
We'll even bring your better half.
There you go.
Morgan, we'll bring more than we.
Make sure to bring your prototype too.
Yeah, and by that time, we might even have one spray painted up or something. We'll see how it goes. All right. Again, thanks for the opportunity. This is,
Thank you, Mark.
you know, it was so fun to ask my kids. And basically what I said is, this is a commitment. They've got a ton of work to do right now. They're getting ready for a trade show, our annual trade show. And so they got projects to finish and trade show things, and we're doing a lean project, and basically they plan their own work. And I said, so guys, do you want to do this? Do you want to take a week and do this? And it was really fun to say, yeah, we're going to do that. We really want to have that experience. So, and Jacob here, he was really rah. It was awesome. So thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to have our students do this, because it is like no other thing they do. We take apart our whole shop and we turn it into a factory.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool stuff.
That's awesome. Well, thanks again. We'll look forward to seeing you at our next meeting.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Please note for the record, I believe Commissioner Frank has joined us. Are you there, Laura?
I am, but I apologize. My connection's a little spotty.
I can hear you. Our next agenda item is the Hoop Town update. Would you be able to give us one?
Yeah, absolutely. So in your meeting packet, you should have a copy of the artist submissions that we received. There were 7 different artists that applied for the project. One of which did not provide a specific proposal, but more a just kind of a portfolio of her previous work, with the comment that if selected based on her portfolio, that she would work with us directly to come up with a design to our specification. The next steps on this is we finally have heard back from all the individuals for the selection committee. And so I'm looking to schedule a meeting next week for those individuals to go through these submissions and make some recommendations. The intent is to have a recommendation to present to the commission at the June meeting. And then Jen, I'd like to work with you to get it on the city council agenda for the first June meeting. So we can present that recommendation to council for approval, and then we can move forward.
Yeah, that works.
So I guess any questions based on the packet that was received?
I think some of the designs look absolutely amazing. It's exciting. And thank you for leading the charge with the selection committee.
Yeah, absolutely. I was super excited, and all of the artists, I reached out to everyone just to let them know kind of what our timeline was, and to confirm that we did receive all of their submissions, and they all seem like fabulous individuals. So I'm honestly excited to work with whoever's selected. I think everybody that submitted is genuinely excited for the project and has connection to the community. So that's just, it's a really fun project to see come together.
Well, that's awesome. We can't wait to hear more. Any questions, commissioners or staff? Or Laura?
The only question I have for is, how do you pick one? They're all good, so that's a big challenge.
It's a good problem to have. When you have too many good options to choose from, it's a great problem to have.
Laura, who did the Tropicana one?
I'm sorry, who did what?
Who did the Tropicana one? That one is really cool. It's different. I like it a lot.
That's artist number 8, I believe.
What are the initials?
Yeah.
JT.
I'm sorry, I'm not in front of my computer, so I can send that to you,
That's
David,
okay.
if you want to know. I can send you the different artists.
Which one are you looking at?
She's talking about
Tropicana one, this one here. I know if I asked my kids, the black mamba would be the one that they would choose.
You know, it's
But-
interesting. I asked my kids which ones they liked as well, just to kind of get a youthful perspective. And so it's been a fun discussion even amongst our family.
Yeah, it's, these are awesome, wow.
Well, like you said, Laura, it's a good problem to have when we're saying awesome over all of them.
Yeah, right. It'll be a tough job for the selection committee.
Well, I know you have a good group put together. We're looking forward to hearing what they've chosen at the next meeting.
Excellent. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. All right, we're to item number 5, the DAR Stone update. Do we have someone on Zoom?
No, but, it's just a brief update.
Okay.
And I was going to share, it's in your packet. A photo. Here. So this is what they're proposing. This is in the council packet for their approval tomorrow evening as a donation. So the donation includes the plaque and the boulder for $922 total. I don't foresee any issue with the council not approving it. But yeah, basically after tomorrow, once it goes through, then staff can start planning with DAR and getting it set and get the plaque mounted and get everything ready before the 2 p.m. May 29th dedication ceremony. And of course, everybody will be
When
invited.
is the dedication?
It's May 29th at 2 p.m. and it's on your, so I included this photo, this sheet in your packet, and it shows it right at the top of this sheet.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. Well, that's awesome. And is Trevor on Zoom?
He is not.
Okay, well, be sure and thank him for helping with getting the stone. It looks like a very nice one.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else, any questions on the DAR project? Okay. We'll move to item number 6, and that's the beginning of our discussion for the strategic plan and the budget for 2024. At the back of our packet today, Jen has thoughtfully included that, and of course we have our vision, our mission, our responsibilities, and that our aims, and we can change any of that at any time if we want to with discussion. And then the last page is our budget out through 2025. And then our projects under discussion that aren't funded or in the formal budget, which we now have the native plant project. So to start our strategic plan discussion, do you want to start at the vision statement and see if there's anything in the vision or the mission that doesn't resonate with you, and then move on down the list from there? Or are you happy with basically the first couple of pages and you want to jump right into talking a little bit more about actual projects and funding? I'll give you a minute to look that over.
I have a couple ideas for some projects.
There you are.
The first one, and I've actually talked a lot to my neighbors, and they all seem to really like this idea, and I brought up before about master gardener programs at the library, because I know that comes under high quality programs, and as to the cost, I think that would be minimal, if any. But I think a lot of people in the city would really enjoy something like that.
What would that look like?
As to our topics, I would think, but just the presentation by Master Gardener, maybe around local plants, or I really haven't gotten that far as to types of topics, but anything, since a lot of people are gardeners, I think anything would be well received. Plus, I think a master gardener, or actually 2 or 3, would be
So the library has had has had master gardeners, teach classes there before. But that would be something that you'd want to get the library director involved with, that discussion.
And maybe it could even turn into, because I've been to another city's master gardener plant sales. They could have a plant sale as well, perhaps.
Well, that sounds interesting. I mean, that's something that if you want, you could probably just have a chat with the library director and see if they would be interested and then maybe bring back to the commission a little bit more detail on what would our involvement be, and we can certainly discuss it. I think it definitely has some merit.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then also I was thinking, I also mentioned this too, but maybe it's something for the future would be I guess the eventual, large flagpole for the, town square or the town square park, yeah. That, maybe, undertake some sort of fundraising and, because it could probably be quite expensive, but I think we could raise the funds, especially, I think a lot of people would really enjoy that.
Jen, refresh my memory, when are they going to do when's council doing master plan?
It's either this year or next year. I think it's next year is, the master planning process. And so that would be a part of that discussion.
Could we start raising funds prior to the?
No, I wouldn't recommend it without having a conversation with council first, because we don't know what, I would assume a flagpole of some sort is going to go there, but depending on what goes there, we wouldn't know what size we could put in there. I think it's putting the cart before the horse a little bit. But to bring it to their attention that so on a council update, it would be good to maybe to mention that we're having, if the commission, the entire commission agrees, obviously with moving forward on a project like that. It would be good to mention sooner than later to them that once they have those discussions with master planning, with staff, that, the commission would like to recommend that a large flag goes in. That can be planned right from the get-go, which would be, instead of waiting until plan is already in and then trying to add the flagpole in after, as an afterthought.
Just kind of put the idea.
Yes.
back in their head.
Yeah. And that it's a priority for, if this, the whole commission agrees that it can become a priority for the commission to recommend to council to.
I'm almost wondering, now that you mentioned that, is when they do the master plan and are having those discussions, would it be possible for a representative from this commission to be part of that?
Oh, I'm sure.
That group,
Yeah.
so that, we would have our finger on the pulse of what's going on, and we might have more suggestions than just that.
Yeah. So I'll make a note of that for Parks and Arts involvement in the master plan.
Yeah, because that could be a missed opportunity if
Sure.
we're not in there for.
And lastly, I was thinking of another project that the cost would be minimal, but it'd be, I think, a high quality program would be the garden contest, where people submit photos of their gardens in August or September. And then we select a winner, maybe first, second, or third.
Library did that as well. They did that during COVID.
Yes,
Yeah, and then they chose a winner and put it on Facebook and.
Yeah, actually, for little advance notice, they had quite a few submissions.
That's kind of cool. So again, maybe that's when you're talking about when you're talking to the librarian, maybe to see if they have an interest in that, and we making a list of all these projects we're under discussion, and then as we develop them out and know more, then we can decide as a commission what's important, kind of prioritize our list and see how we want to move forward. But definitely if you talk to the library first, then
Okay.
I think that would be helpful.
I'll do that.
Thank you so much for your input.
I would like to point out, the first three items on the strategic plan, the vision, the mission, and the commission responsibilities. I think a lot of effort went into those, and I would like to see, unless there's any objection, I would like to see us definitely keep those in place. As far as parks and arts focus, I would like to add something to statement pieces, which would be interactive art pieces. That's a topic that's been brought up a couple of times, and at least allow us to be able to think beyond, you know, the traditional statement pieces like statues and panels and murals and so forth, and look at something that we have the ability to expand on, something that's interactive. That's a real big deal today. And if you just go on and you Google interactive park art and see some of the ideas that are out there, they're pretty amazing. So I just maybe more, instead of including that, we could still include other, but say panels, comma, interactive art pieces and other.
David, there is an interactive arts item in there. Do you want that amended or?
Where am I looking at that?
So under
Why?
park and art focus, it's the second bullet point. It says interactive art that actively engages the community, such as playground equipment, storyboards, festivals, and other.
Totally sorry, I jumped the gun. Scratch my.
No, you're fine. I just wanted to make sure that if it's something
Yeah,
different from
you're
that
absolutely
or.
Right. Thanks. Which leads me to, I'd really like to come back and visit your, the art boulder idea that you shared with us a couple of years ago. Laura, that I thought those were amazing, and I think we need to, you know, maybe is something to focus on for later this year or next year is visit that.
We could certainly revisit that. And Jen, help me remember if I'm stating this incorrectly. I think we had originally kind of targeted Pavilion Park, but because there was a playground update in the future plan, that we were holding off until we knew what that was going to look like to see if we could incorporate it there. However, we do have other locations that we could consider now, but that's what I believe where the hold came from on that one.
Yep, that's correct.
Refresh my memory, was that boulders that kids could climb on?
Yes, well, in one respect they could, right, Laura? I mean, they just, like, Laura, you don't happen to have those pictures with you, do you? Easily obtainable?
I don't have them easily available with me, but I can send them to Jen and Nancy when I am back at my computer, and then they can share with the group just as a refresher.
One of them, what I thought was cool was the snake, the boulders. Each piece of the boulder represented a part of the snake.
Oh.
And then what was the head painted or was it carved?
It was carved, and you might even be able to look up. It was they were outside of the Denver Children's Museum. We were on vacation there, and they have a play area that just had these boulders throughout, and some were carved as like little reading benches, and then they had a turtle, they had a snake, and just other animals, but all out of these giant river rocks, which, as we all know, we have an abundance in Liberty Lake, and so that's where the idea came from to share with the commission.
I'm wondering if we could partner with like the Jess Ross Kelly Foundation, because they love doing that kind of natural, interactive kind of play art pieces, if you will, for to commemorate Jess Ross Kelly, who was, you know, the famous climber that died. They have the boulder at Riverfront Park in the new playground area just off of that, and then they have something. I don't remember if it's an Audubon Park or, yes.
Yeah, would climate.
Yeah, they have several things, several projects, but that's kind of right up their alley. It might be a nice collaboration.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And like I said, I'm happy to reshare the pictures once I'm in front of a computer again.
Well, why don't I'll make a note of that on projects under discussion, and we'll gather more information on that as well.
So, I'm looking at the, public art plan through 2025 on this, and it is actually notated. Pavilion Park updates rock art
I see that there, okay.
for pavilion, again,
Okay,
this
you can sit on my lap now.
next year, but, or a different park.
Great,
Okay,
good
I'm
on.
almost done with you.
Okay, that's a great idea. So we already have that kind of as a placeholder. Now's a great time to start fleshing that out a little bit, so.
Oh, I just wanted to add quickly, in regards to the Jess Ross Kelly Foundation, I'm friends with his wife who survives him, Allie Ross Kelly. If you think it's relevant or pertinent, I could reach out to her, or we could just go straight to the people who run the foundation. Well, she runs the foundation.
Yeah, yeah, why don't we get the information from Laura and have a little bit more discussion so we know what we're talking about. And I also know, Jess's parents really well.
Oh, okay, great.
So, I think once we have a little bit more information, then maybe we can present the idea to them and see if it has any interest. I know they have some projects in the works now, so it may not be within their bandwidth, but it can't hurt to ask.
Sounds good.
Thank you. What ideas did you have, Noel, while we have you? Anything that you've been thinking about or resonates to discuss?
Not at the moment. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
No, this is all good. We're on the right track.
Yeah,
Same for me.
same. Well, I know as we keep getting these presentations from this,
From where we started from to where we are now, that's huge.
yeah, I mean, and the interaction from the community. Some things coming up that you should know. I know the dog park was on here, and I believe I told you that I'll be going to the Community Engagement Commission. I think it's the middle of this month. To give a little presentation that's being driven by the owners of Popular Companions who want to be like a business sponsor of part of the project and to help gather more information and what may happen from that. There's a new tool. It's my understanding that community engagement has a way they can engage the public. I can't remember, it started with a Z. I don't know. Zen City? Oh, that's cool. And so that might be implemented at Popular Companions to get feedback from the community, but that's still coming down the pike, at least that there's been some community feedback. But where I was going with this is when I go to the Community Engagement Commission, I was talking to the staff liaison, David, about it, and at the following meeting, I believe some representatives from the Community Engagement Commission will come to our meeting to find out how they can help us engage the public on projects we're either working on or projects that might be of interest to them. So I thought that was exciting with this new tool of the Zen City, which is I'm sure computer interactive something. Will help us do more of public engagement, and maybe it could be used at the farmer's market, or we could make an appearance occasion at the farmer's market, how they've done the whiteboard for different things that are important to people. So probably at our June meeting, I'm imagining we'll have some folks from community engagement, and so be thinking in the back of your mind how you think that they could help us to engage the community. So I know that's coming down the pike, and I'll keep you posted on, how it's going with the dog park. And not necessarily that that's our top priority project, but it is of interest to one of our local business owners, and we'll just see where it goes.
And Laura, thank you for giving your report to City Council. I actually did watch the entire 4 hours, mostly just in the background and the audio. And then when I saw the report in the splash, I think Thursday or Friday, and I was looking, I was like, man, are doing a lot of stuff. And, you know, when you read about everything that we have in the pipeline and everything that we've done, I'm like, wow, I couldn't believe how much stuff we have in the pipeline, and there's still more. So kudos to everybody. And again, Laura, thanks for taking that upon yourself. That was an awesome report.
All right, well, if anybody doesn't have anything else for right now, why don't we kind of table that? And then we'll bring it up again at our next meeting and start fine tuning it and massaging it to the budget, because we will have to create one more budget year.
Okay.
As part of this plan, and make sure that everything is still in the year it should be, and see where we want to go from there. So we'll be ready to present our formal budget ask to council at the end of the summer. So that brings us to item 7, which is the staff report.
Well, I want to back up just a little bit. Did you want to mention where we're at with the graffiti barrels? I just saw them on the strategic plan and.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I just had an update on the graffiti barrels. I talked to Michaela from the library. She's in charge of the teen programs. And she had it on the list for the barrel people to show up on Saturday and start the project, but no one showed up, because everyone's too busy with sports and stuff. So she had a conversation with the art director at Ridgeline High School, and kids are really interested in doing it, but it was a timing thing, you know, middle afternoon on Saturday, and it's what, 80 degrees out? Anyway, long story short, Ridgeline High School will work with the library district and bring the barrels to the high school, where the kids will do them at the high school as part of their art program. And it's a great way of involving the teams, just like we had in mind. The library is thrilled with the collaboration. And so I think city staff was gonna take the barrels over, and
They're doing those plows right now, so.
yeah.
They just add the barrels and get those done too.
Apparently, we have a very go-getting art department at Ridgeline High School of kids that want to be part of community projects. So I thought that was exciting, that although schedules of families didn't allow them to come, they're still going to do it by doing it at the high school instead of the library. So that's our update on that. Thank you for the reminder.
All right, moving along to staff report, I have a update. Pavilion has been getting hit with a lot of vandalism as the weather warms up. We typically see this happen every year, but I think every year Pavilion gets worse and worse. And we have cameras everywhere. We have crime reports filed every time it happens. It's unfortunate because even the little spray paint, you know, pictures, and they're not friendly. They're not family friendly. They've got to get removed right away, and it just eats up our staff time so that they can't do their other regular duties, you know, in a timely manner. So not only is it just kind of disgraceful and disgusting to see some of this stuff happen, they're breaking latches off of the restroom stalls, they're ripping the baby changing station off the wall, and there's lots of graffiti, just lots and lots of awful graffiti. But our crew has to be the ones to clean that up. And it takes a lot of elbow grease to get that stuff off. So it's definitely something that we're trying to do a kind of a promotion through social media with our communication specialist. If you see something, say something, report it to Crime Check. You know, if you see something in the act.
Yeah, I saw that.
That one post, yeah. So anyhow, just be aware
Has
and
there been any vandalism to the mural at all?
not yet.
Have the police have any success on seeing anything in the camera?
No. Next thing, Rocky Hill Park, I'm trying to find the picture. We, crews installed the plaque for the Growing Together statues. It turned out very nice. Nice to see it not sitting in my office, and so that's good. The ground's thawed and the guys were able to put it in the ground. And we also have goats that returned. They made their return to Rocky Hill Park this last week, and the Arboretum. They'll be there probably most of summer and move to Pavilion at some point during the season. And then the Rocky Hill Shade Structure, thank you so much for approving that. I know that's been a bit of a topic, but staff truly appreciates it. They're about 12 weeks out, so we couldn't have waited. Otherwise, it would have been bumped to next year. And it's on the agenda for council approval tomorrow evening. So yeah, that's awesome. And then upcoming events, I won't go through all of these dates. I'm just updating them as they come. the parks are just crazy busy and our reservations are skyrocketing every year, I swear. Our spring cleanup was a success. We had a total of 12 roll-off dumpsters come through there for a total of 21 tons of trash, yard debris, and miscellaneous waste that Waste Management hauled off from strictly City of Liberty Lake residents. So it's a lot of garbage. Crew was pretty tired that day. And then recreation update, for you, yoga agreement was approved at the last 4-hour council meeting. Tinkergarten agreement is moving forward with council tomorrow evening. I will move forward with Jennifer Morton, who you heard from today, with getting hers on the agenda, once we get everything hashed out with the legal, departments and get the agreement finalized. We'll get that to council, hopefully. I'm hopeful for the second meeting, and but I don't know that we're gonna have it done by then. And then bicycle communities update. So I keep chipping away at this as I have a few spare moments, and I actually stumbled across this flyer, and it's in your it's in your packets. But it is a flyer I stumbled upon from 2014. And it is actually bicycle friendly community, Liberty Lake, Washington, and there's all the data.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so I literally stumbled onto this. So I have a message into them. Nobody has responded yet about like what we need to do staff wise to continue this, and was 2014 the last year that anything was done with it? And I'm thinking that's probably the case. So I'm still digging a little bit on what the benefit is, what do we need to do, how do we move forward, if that's the, the recommendation from the commission to follow up with this. But that's where I'm at, so I'll still continue to keep you in the loop as I find out things on it.
Yeah, I think as time allows and you can get a response from them.
It wasn't something that I was involved with, that was before my days as park and rec director. The old recreation coordinator who was here years ago, she was the one who did these, and I was just mowing grass at that point. I didn't have anything to do with any of this. So I'm kind of trying to figure it out and get caught up to speed, so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and there is going to be a strategic plan survey that I'm gonna send you all tomorrow morning. And it's actually on the city website on the front page.
That's the one that I got in the email.
Did you get it?
I got one.
I got one
I
on
did it.
the Liberty Lake texting thing, and I did it.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, it was about 25 questions-ish.
Oh, I don't know.
About what's important.
Who do you know who you got it from?
This came from the city, on their hotline, the hotline text message delivers all the meeting packets and everything. I got it there, I did mine, I think Thursday or Friday.
Oh,
I think this is what it was.
well, I'll send it out tomorrow, and that, just in case it's different, but.
And I think it was in the splash too, or an announcement,
Yeah,
but
Okay.
no, it was a good survey. I mean, there was some good questions in there
Okay.
for us to think
that
about.
very well could be what that was, so I'll send it out. If you already did it, just disregard.
I'm just looking, I don't remember how I got it, but I.
Yeah,
got
it was on, if you get the
Interesting.
text, you can go to the city
Yeah.
website. And you can opt in to get a text message, and it will be like announcements of this meeting, it will be announcements of the city council in the packet that they have. So that if you want to plan to go to those meetings, you're prepped a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's great, yeah, no, I didn't know you guys maybe had already received that, but that's good.
Love technology.
I know, yeah, you can get it one of 10 different ways, swear. And then the only thing I have left is May 16th is the second council meeting of the month, and who would like to commit to the council report? Nancy, I know you mentioned.
I will probably with Laura do the June meeting because we'll be presenting the Hoop Town selection. So if somebody else could do the May meeting, that'd be awesome. And I'll take June.
I'll be out of town.
I apologize, I just, my teaching, and I am committed on May 16th, yeah, I'm committed till probably 7:45.
What day of the week is that?
Tuesday.
Oh, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday the 16th.
The first and the second, well,
at 7, I believe.
I can do it.
You'll do it, all right. Thank you so
Lauren did a
much.
superb job. If you want to go back and look to see what, not that none of us else did a super job, but if you go back and go on and look at the video, it's on their Facebook page and you can, those are usually at the beginning, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, they kind of moved to those pretty quickly.
So you
within the
can
first
see
15.
hers to see what she talks about and there might be a question or two that doubted.
I mean, it's usually just, 5 minutes and just highlighting what projects we're working on.
So, May 16th, and then what did you and Laura will do the June 6th?
Yeah, Laura, myself, or both of us will do the June.
All right. Perfect.
We might tag team it.
And that is all I have for my report. Are there any questions about anything in general? And as we further our discussion on the strategic plan, staff will also be starting to bring up discussion on the CFP and updating it now for the next 6 years. And I will bring forward to you as I start printing out what parks and facilities are needing projects, bones infrastructure projects, because then you can be thinking, how can we turn this into art, such as the Rocky Hill shade structure, which, you know, it's a pure functional thing. And that's how I was looking at it, and then there were several people here that said, oh, that could have been something that the art, Parks and Arts could weigh in on. And so what I'll just give you everything, basically, when I run my report for asset management on what we end up projecting out the next 6 years. And we can tentatively add those items if you think there's a potential project in any one of them.
That just reminded me about unfinished business. There's the laminated beam that was taken out of the old trailhead that the mayor had them save a chunk of it. It's like, I don't know, 10 feet long or something.
Yeah.
And wanted to know if we could do something with it as a Parks and Arts Commission. And I was sending it to my brother, who's a designer, and he pointed out that the beam was inside and it's laminated, and if you put it outside, it's gonna be a maintenance nightmare for those guys. And Laura and I were just briefly talking whether we could put it back in the building. The new building is a form of a bench, where it would be inside, it would go back to its original starting point. But I have no idea, I haven't seen a floor plan. I heard you say you were walking through,
Yeah,
like,
it's not that they're today.
like, is there a place people going to the restaurant are gonna sit to wait for their table to be called, or is there?
I don't know if there's a place for them to wait for their table, but there's gonna be plenty of tables.
Yeah,
So-
is
See,
there any?
there's a rotary room right next to it.
Is there any public areas that would benefit from a bench? That's just an idea, but eventually we need to figure out what we want to do with the bench. So I think we should put that on the projects to discuss, so we don't lose it.
Okay. And
The hub would be another place that it could be utilized too.
the hub or the new library as well.
Both the indoor.
Yeah. But I think we should basically focus on.
You can we do I know we did through Rotary, but can we do a walkthrough to see? Or can we arrange a walkthrough to see at the new clubhouse to see where it
I'm
is?
sure we can.
Yeah.
That I think Lisa would be the person to answer that, but we can see if we can set something up.
Yeah, maybe ask them.
Then we could at least look and see if it's, because I think that would be the first priority would be to do it there since it came from that building.
So you said it's a beam,
It's a beam, she sent us a picture once, it's a great big,
4 by 12.
It's
at
6
least, yeah,
foot long by, it's huge.
it's pretty good, yeah.
It was the
It's
center
at least
beam.
4 by 12, it might be bigger, I'm trying to remember the
4 by
picture.
12 by 6,
Um,
4 by 12.
let me see if I can find it.
No, it's longer
No,
than
it's
6 feet.
Okay,
The 4 by 12 might be sort of accurate.
and it's a solid piece of wood.
It's laminated, it's a laminated beam, so yeah. Which is why, because I thought, oh, we could use it somewhere, because there's a lot more room outside for benches than inside. And we can cut it down too. I mean, maybe it's long enough where it could end up being 2 benches, one could go one place, one could go the other, but it probably does need to go inside, so we don't create a maintenance nightmare. So we'll just put that on our placeholder discussions, and yeah, if we can get in to take a look, that's a good idea.
Right now, walls are all painted. And you can see where the outlets are gonna be, and where the TVs are gonna be, and power and everything else. So, that,
Coming right along.
I mean, you just gotta see, and now you gotta have a vision.
Yeah, so if the walls are up, then yeah, you can get a feel
Oh, yeah.
for this thing.
Walls are up.
So I would remind everybody that with our next meeting, to take a look at the strategic plan and think about items that we want in the budget so that we have some input, everybody can provide some input of that. So maybe set aside, half an hour and take a look at that strategic plan before our next meeting and come back with some feedback.
Jen, would you be able to send out an updated list from today's minutes of projects under discussion? And then, and maybe at the bottom of this, like the budget sheet, like you have here, just add the new ones on, so when everybody does take a look, like David suggested, that they'll have the real-time stuff in there.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll go through my notes and shoot you a list just to make sure our lists match and I'm not forgetting anything. Okay.
Yeah, and then once you get that email, then you can take a look, it'll have the budget information we have here, and they'll have the projects under discussion list with the ones that we've also discussed today. So that way, we can make more of an informed decision. Great idea, I think, does anybody else have anything?
Yeah, the quiz, meet on Wednesday and I'll be there and I will go over the issues with the book with them. Okay, and in the rate, let them know that it's, we've been waiting a long time to get this done and it's time to move forward. And I know they will want to do that.
And you'll have them talk.
And I'll have Tim get a hold of Jennifer,
Mhm.
wherever that, and we'll get it done.
Oh, there's the,
Oh,
it's even bigger than that, yeah.
That's a pretty nice size.
I mean, it can be cut down.
$2,500 initially.
I'd have to,
Yeah, I think it was 2,500 was the initial commitment.
6,000 was in our budget for it, so I don't know.
Right, so,
well, I will get back to it, and I'll also encourage, if it's $2,500, I'll encourage them to increase that.
Doesn't that look like it's 10 feet long?
it's awesome. Yeah.
David Gaynor did those.
Okay, anything else, folks? Okay, our next meeting is June 5th, and we're adjourned.